They shoved the old man forward like he was nothing, just another vagrant wasting the court's time. His hands were cuffed, his shoulders hunched under the weight of a tattered military coat stained by time and dirt. 5 faded medals clinked softly on his chest, ignored by everyone in the room. People barely glanced up. No one saw a hero. Just a homeless man who got caught behind a grocery store dumpster. Trespassing, resisting arrest. That's what the charge sheet said. No one asked why he was there. No one cared. The prosecutor spoke with venom, calling him a repeat offender, a danger to the public, mentally unstable. The bailiff rolled his eyes as he listed his name. James Rutledge. No fixed address. The judge didn't even look up. Another case in a long line of misery. The courtroom was tired, but then the old man lifted his head. James Rutledge, Colonel, United States Marine Corps, retired. The words didn't come with bravado, just quiet dignity. Someone in the gallery laughed under their breath. One of the young public defenders scoffed and whispered, "Yeah, right, and I'm a Navy SEAL." The tension in the room wasn't high, it was low, apathetic. That made it worse. They weren't angry, they just didn't care. The footage played on screen, security cam footage of Rutledge crouched behind a store, trying to stay warm. When 2 officers approached, he ran, not out of aggression, but instinct. They tackled him hard. One of the medals popped off his jacket and rolled into the street. One boot kicked it away like trash. The judge sighed. "Enough," he muttered, flipping open the case file to sign off on sentencing. But then he stopped. His eyes froze on the page. He leaned forward. Something shifted in his face. He looked up. Slowly, and his voice, once bored and cold, now trembled. "Colonel? Rutledge? Firebase Echo?" The courtroom fell quiet. The old man nodded once, confused. The judge stood, visibly shaken. "My grandfather. He used to tell us stories about a man with a silver star who carried 3 wounded men out of a jungle under fire, a man they thought died out there. That was you." James said nothing, but the look in his eyes, haunted, deep, ancient, spoke for him. The judge turned to the room, voice rising with disbelief. "This man is a war hero, a Silver Star recipient. 2 Purple Hearts. He led Echo Company through one of the deadliest missions in our military's history. And we put him in handcuffs for sleeping behind a grocery store?" You could hear the breath leave the courtroom like a sucked-in gasp. Jurors stared. The prosecutor lowered her head. The officers who had cuffed him looked stunned. The judge stepped down from the bench, his voice cracking. "Sir, I thought you were dead." Rutledge's reply was quiet. "Sometimes coming back feels worse." The words hit like a sledgehammer. The judge's hands trembled. "I'm dismissing this case, with prejudice, and I'm issuing a formal apology, on behalf of this court, this city, and this country, for forgetting men like you." James stood still, shocked, unmoving. For years he'd walked invisible. For years he'd survived on scraps, tucked into alleys, ignored by the country he gave everything for, and now this room full of strangers stood in silence as the judge did something no one expected. He saluted, a full military salute. Then one by one, the officers followed. Then the gallery, then the jury. Some saluted, some stood with hands over their hearts, and some just wept. The judge stepped forward again, holding something tight, a folded American flag. "This belonged to my grandfather," he said. "He wanted it given to the man who saved his life. I never thought I'd get the chance." James took it with shaking hands. The courtroom, once cold and cynical, now stood frozen in awe. There was no shouting, no outrage, just a silence full of respect. That night, James didn't return to the alley. He didn't sleep under cardboard. He was escorted to veteran housing arranged by the mayor himself. The story hit local news, then national. The footage from the courtroom went viral. Donations flooded in. A GoFundMe, launched by a former Marine, raised over $500,000 in 2 days. One by one, people from his past reappeared. Old soldiers who served with him. A nurse who patched him up in '83. A young man whose father had made it home because of Colonel Rutledge. They came, they hugged him, they cried. A week later, during a town ceremony, something happened that broke even the hardest hearts. A little boy, no more than 10, walked up to him, saluted, and handed him a drawing. "My grandpa says you're the bravest man alive. I made this for you." It was a crayon sketch of a soldier with angel wings, standing tall while bombs fell behind him. James folded it gently, tucked it into his coat next to his medals. "Thank you, son. I'll keep it forever." And for the first time in years, he smiled. So never judge a man by the dirt on his clothes, the silence in his eyes, or the street beneath his feet. Because some heroes don't wear capes, they wear scars, and walk among us unnoticed. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button and drop a karma in the comments below.